Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. I want to show you today how to make a masculine card that I decided to make, which is something I don't usually make, but I had to make a birthday card for a neighbor of mine who is kind of a handyman helper to some of us in the neighborhood, and I thought that the vintage tools stamp set would be kind of a neat stamp set to use. So this is the card that I came up with. And I actually, let me see if I can get this straight on. I actually cased this from somebody on Pinterest, and now I can't remember who it was. So if the person sees this video and recognizes their card, then I just want to say thank you. Now I did change this card a little bit. I have the, let's see, where is it? This. The, what's it called? Oh, I'm forgetting the pieces and the parts that I have that I made the card. The split card textures dies. That wasn't on the original one. And I also used the new Metal Plate 3D Embossing folder. So this is, so it has a flap in the front. So now it opens it. Look at how shiny it is, right? And then it also opens like that. Kind of cool, right? So you fold it and you fold it. Cool. So let me, I'm going to flip the camera and we'll get started, and I'll show you what you're going to need to make the card. So here's another view of it. And again, this is like a little hinge. So you would open it and it's stamped on that side as well. And a nice shiny part. And then they would open it again. And this is the part you can write your sentiment. So I'm just going to set it aside here, and I'll tell you the parts and pieces that you're going to need. So I started with a piece of basic gray, typical A2, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then for the silver part, that is a piece of silver foil, the silver foil specialty paper. That's somewhere in the mini cat. It's in the mini catalog, and it comes in really bright silvery foil, and then it also has a little bit more of a matte foil as well. For this one though, I'm using the really shiny, the really aluminum foil colored silver foil paper, and I'll have a link to all of the supplies in the description below, so you'll be able to see everything. And then I'll link I'll put a link to my blog, because I'm going to also have the information on my blog. So and then the silver foil piece I started out by cutting it at 5 1/4 by 4, right? As if it were just a typical layer. And then I embossed it using the Metal Plate 3D Embossing folder, which was part of the ride, whatever it was called in the mini catalog, with the motorcycle. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. So that I embossed it with this embossing folder. Then once I embossed it, I went and I die cut it with the split card textures dies. So here you get 2 dies, decorative one, and then the one with the squares. And this is the one that I ended up using. And so when you flip it and you put it on your card, I did it so that the wide part was at the top, the skinny part was at the bottom. And that's how I laid it on, and then did the die cutting. Now I've already done the die cutting because it's a lot of little bits and pieces that come flying off, and You don't need to see me doing the die cutting. You just need to know how to do it yourself. Okay, let me just set that aside. Now, the other thing, let's see, let me set aside the card base. All right, and then the next piece we're going to need will be, and I use the Deckled dies for the next couple of pieces. So the Deckled Rectangles dies, these are the Deckled. So they look very similar to the stitched rectangle dies, only they're not stitched and they're jagged, they're raggedy around the edges. So you're going to need a piece of basic black, and you're going to cut it or die cut it using the third largest die. So take the third largest die and you'll die cut that out of basic black. That's all you're going to do with it. And then you're going to die cut 2 pieces of basic white with the 4th Deckled rectangle die. So that's this one. So you did the black one with the 3rd Deckled die, and now you're going to do it with 2 of the white with the 4th Deckled die. Okay, and there's that. And that's already done, obviously. I did it for the sake of the video. Let's see. And I have my written instructions here because I'm thinking, oh God, I'm going to forget. Did the basic white. Oh, and you'll need a piece of basic white for the inside as well. That's, you know, for this layer, obviously. That's 5 1/4 by 4. And then for the, I think this is the last piece. So you'll need, for the hinge, you'll just need a piece of basic black cut at 2 1/2 by 1 1/2, and you're going to score it at 1/2, a 1/2 inch. I had to think for a second because I was thinking it was less than that, but no, it's, so 2 1/2 inches long, 1 1/2 inches wide, and then score it on the 2 1/2 inch side at 1/2. And then you're going to place it on, and we're going to wrap it around, but just, you know, just, you're going to wrap it around the back. I put it in between the layers. I made such a colossal mess that I think that maybe it might be easier just to put it on the back, because who cares, right? No one's going to really care what the back looks like. It's just going to be a tab. So that's that piece. And then for the sentiment on the front, you're going to need a piece of smoky slate cut at 2 inches by 1 1/4. And then that we'll stamp obviously a little something on it, and then we will glue it on. And then obviously in between time, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is fold and burnish the card base. And we always tell you to burnish the folded edge just to give it a nice crisp edge. Okay, and I'm going to adhere this silver foil. I'm going to put glue on the solid part, and I'm only going to put some around the edges. I didn't leave myself much room at the very tippity top, did I? Okay. Now you can use whatever adhesive you want. I'm using liquid glue. The liquid glue, when you put your project down on your cardstock, allows you just a few seconds to be able to wiggle it around if you need to move the placement. And if you were to use, you know, snail tape, stamp and seal, once it's down, it's down. It's not going to get moved. Okay, so you're going to put this open weave side down on the left, right on top of your card base. See, there's no need to put any adhesive on the open section as long as your piece is tacked down on all the other sides. You're going to be fine. Okay, it already looks kind of nice and shiny. I like that. All right, so now we have, all right, let's just go ahead and take our black piece. So the way the black and the white pieces are going to work is we're going to do some stamping on one of them, and we'll, not going to tack it down yet, but one will go on this side and one will go on the reverse side. So that's what we have here. One on this side and one on that side. So I'm going to go ahead and do some, we'll do some stamping on both pieces. I'll set the black aside and get my stamps out. We'll get the hammer out. We'll get the pliers. We'll get the awl. I'll get the plane. No, that's not a plane. That's the, anyway, no, never mind. I'm rambling. And some nails. Okay, so I'll start with I'm going to use some basic gray ink. Now, you can use black as well. I just decided to keep the colors gray because it's sort of metallic-y. And I'm not going to be coloring any of them in, as you'll see in the card here. I just stamped them and left it. All right. Let me move this out of the way. And a lot of the times I'm inking up this way, but I also will ink up, oops, but I also will ink up this way, to whatever you're most comfortable with. All right, let's see. You know what, I'm gonna do a little cleaning up around the edges, because as I was doing the other one yesterday, I found that I was getting some ink around where I didn't want it. So I'm just gonna do a little, I'm using just a BB wipe to clean up a little bit so I don't get that extra ink on my project. Hopefully I'm getting it all off. All right, let's see how that goes. Okay. Now you can pretty much just stamp the images. Let me move this up a little bit. Stamp the images kind of wherever you want them. There's no right or wrong. There's nothing in particular in terms of the placement. There we go. I'm glad that came out good. I'm going to set it aside. I might want to use it again. All right, I'm going to try the pliers. And this time I'm just going to do this way. Again, I have a little bit of, ink around the edges. And I just want to clean that up a bit. You've probably had that happen to you, right? Where you stamp it and then you get like a little line going around. Oh, so frustrating. I hate that. I mean, you can flip the paper over, but then who the hell wants to? Okay. So far, so good. All right, set that one aside. Now I'm going to put the awl. I think they use awl in like leather crafting and I don't know what else, but Go clean up the edge again. No matter how lightly I touch the stamp onto the stamp pad, I still do get a little bit of ink around the edges where I don't want it. Okay. I hit the camera. Oh, let's see, with my head. Okay. And now I think I'll do some nails. Let me switch my block. I'm just doing this ever so lightly. And I'll do some nails here. And I might do a couple of nails on this side. And I don't want to do too much, but I might do one nail over here. Yeah. Yesterday when I was doing one card and I had like more nails on it, it was like, wow, it just seemed like it was like way too much. So I decided maybe less is more. Wait, let me just close this for 1 second. And then this will go on. I'm not going to mount it onto the black cardstock now, but it will go onto this piece. Oh, see, oh no, that's a piece of hair. I thought maybe I smooched it. That's a piece of cat hair. Okay, so that will eventually go on there. So now we will do the other piece, and I'm going to, now this is what I have on my sample. So I did the plain and the file. That's what that is. It's like a file, a metal file. Okay, I want to mount that. And put it in the middle because I want to put a sentiment above it and below it. Okay, put that aside. And I want to use the sentiment, you're all that and more. Okay. And below that, I'm going to put your plain awesome. Little play on words. And I'm doing this one over to the right. So I did the top one over on the left, and I did this one over on the right. And now I will do the file. I know I got extra ink on it. Okay. Okay. All right, so those are the two pieces stamped that are going to go on both sides of the black layer. Okay, now let's see, where did I leave off in my instructions to make sure I do this correctly. All right, my little fold. Okay. All right, so now I need to get my they put my little, all right, so I'm being too efficient by putting my things aside. Oh, there's my card base. And I want to adhere your tab, your little black tab. I'm going to close this because I know I'm going to put my fingers in it. So your black tab, you want to just fold it at the score line, right? And you want to open your card, and you're just going to tack down the tab on the back. You're just going to apply some glue to the little tab, to the little piece, not to the larger side, just to the little piece, and press it against the fold, and then just press it in place. So the only thing adhering is the tab. So now you have it on the back side. Now, if you're feeling brave, you can obviously put the tab in here and you'll cover it over with, you know, with this part, I did that and I made a colossal mess. So I said, you know, I'm just going to make life easy for myself and do it that way. Okay. Probably could have done it a little bit farther down, but all right. Now we want to fold it back over. So you want to fold it all the way to the front. And we're going to just put some adhesive on this left part, and then you're going to how did I put this now? Let me just double check. I have it over the front. Yeah, I have it over the front, not underneath it. Although you could. I don't see the reason why you couldn't. But I put it, on mine, I put it over the top. So I'm only going to put some adhesive on the edge. But like I said, you can, if you want, put it underneath, and so you would then put the adhesive on the top and fold it onto this black layer. Okay, and then what we're going to do is cover it over anyway with this piece, and then we're going to cover the other part with this piece. So you'll just adhere, put some adhesive, whatever your adhesive of choice is. And we'll put the other one on. And then I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to show you another card that I made with this set that's kind of different. All right. And then we have that. And now I want to stamp. I'm going to stamp It's Your Day. Get my basic gray ink back out again. And this is for the inside. Oh, see? Made a boo-boo. I'll just flip it over. All right, I think I'm going to get it this time. Well, I did still get a little bit extra, but you can't really see it. It's so light. And then I want to get the vise. I'm going to use the vise. Okay, and I'm going to put the vise down here on the bottom left. And then I want to put build in some time for yourself. Let's see, where is it? It's right here. Okay, I think I'll put it down here. Leave some space in the middle to write something. There we go. Not so bad. Close that up. And I will tack that down. Getting close to the end. Thanks for sticking with me. Now we just want to get the smoky slate, and I put on I did strong, solid, dependable. Might as well do the same thing. Strong, solid, dependable. Should have kept my ink pad open. All right. And we'll put that right onto the tab. Okay, put some of these stamps back in the case since I'm done with them. And I don't want to lose any of them. Close this up. And now we'll just glue this on top. And you'll glue it right to the center of your tab, right across your front piece. Now for the embellishments, I'm using the rustic metallic adhesive back dots, and these look like little brass dots. Get my scissors, and I'm going to just put a couple of the medium dots to here. just like that. And here we have it. So now it opens this way and it opens that way. Kind of a little cute little fun fold. I hope you like it. It's so bright and shiny, right? I love it. So I hope that you will give this one a try if you're in need of a masculine card. So that's kind of neat. So let me show you the other one that I did. Also using the split card textures die, and I used the paper from the motorcycle paper. And then I used just some black cardstock, and you probably can't tell, but I die cut it with the Deckled Rectangle dies. And I used a piece of smoky slate on top of that, which I embossed with the plywood embossing folder. I used more of the designer series paper from the motorcycle suite, and just a piece of basic white that I just cut and stamped it. And then in terms of the sentiment, I printed it out on my printer, because when I just had the thought about the funny saying that says, sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. And that's the card that I decided to make. And then I put the sentiment hang in there because I thought it was appropriate if somebody was having a hard time and they were feeling more like the nail than the hammer, they're going to need some encouragement. So this one was completely different than this one, but using the same kind of, thought process and design, using the split card textures die. I love that one. It's so fun. And like I said, I thought the plywood embossing folder would be a fun one to use as well. So I hope you enjoyed the cards. I hope you will enjoy making this one. And give the the silver foil paper is so pretty. Maybe you'll give that one a try. So thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you stopping by and watching my tutorial. I'm going to have all the supplies and directions in the description below. So tune in again, and I look forward to having you with me the next time. Thank you.